bring in Andy McCarthy. He's a Fox News contributor. I just read his piece this morning about the Flynn case, Andy, and now this is a whole another element. What do you make of this release of these documents, including that former Vice President Joe Biden was on a list of people requesting to know Flynn's identity?
Well, I certainly agree with Judge Napolitano, Dana, that once the two senators asked for this information after the Director of National Intelligence shopped it to the Justice Department, that it was a matter of time, short time, before it got out. But I guess what I'd be very interested in is making the distinction that General Flynn, you know, when we're talking about unmasking, we're talking about people who are incidentally, Americans who are incidentally captured or monitored in foreign intelligence collection. General Flynn, we now know, on the basis of all these disclosures that have been made in the last few weeks, was not incidentally anything. He was a target. They made him the target of an investigation, which seems to me, if you have him as the roving target in the Trump campaign, then anyone he comes into contact with could be incidentally collected in connection with foreign intelligence collection, because they identified him preposterously as a clandestine agent of Russia.
Mm-hmm. And I was just looking at the dates. This letter from the National Security Agency says, per your email request, I'm providing this list of identities of any officials that asked for this NSA information between the 8th of November 2016 and the 31st of January 2017. So I'm just thinking that timeline, sir, is very interesting because it's right after the election or right before. I can't remember the date of the election, but November 8th, 2016, till right after the inauguration. Does that tell us anything?
Yeah, November 8th was Election Day. So this is basically the Obama administration realizing against all odds that Trump has won, and that in 10 weeks he's going to have access to all of the intelligence files in the United States. So they're going to get busy. And since they've been investigating him and his campaign as if it was a Russian operation, they now have to pull together and project some evidence to suggest that that was not something that was fabulism, that it was actually real. So I think, you have to combine this, Dana, with all of the intelligence leaks that we got from Election Day going past Inauguration Day.
And Andy, on this list, of course, the DNI at the time, James Clapper, and the director of the CIA, John Brennan, both of those individuals had been quite willing to talk publicly about the Russia collusion story, all up through impeachment. They're really willing to go on the record and talk about that. I mean, do they have some obligation now to explain themselves in this action?
Well, I thought they've had an obligation all along, Dana, and I'd also point out that Clapper appears to have been involved in the leak of the dossier, the ridiculous Steele dossier that in the beginning of January, CNN got first, and then BuzzFeed published the whole thing. And I think Clapper's on record admitting that he spoke to CNN about it. So it seems to me that what went on here is they were trying to project the image of something they hadn't been able to prove with evidence, which was that Trump was in cahoots with the Kremlin.
Can I ask you something about this list? Do you think, Andy, in your experience, that all of these individuals would have asked for this unmasking separately, or do they communicate amongst themselves and all agree that they're going to ask for it at the same time?
Dana, we're about years overdue for a hearing on exactly how this happened, because as I understand it, for example, Samantha Power is on paper responsible for over 200 unmasking. She says she didn't do it. So I don't think we know how they did this. And I don't think we know whether these names are just names that are being used like nominees and somebody else was actually doing the dirty work.
Right. Right. And that might be what some of them decide to say as they get asked about this. Andy McCarthy, thanks.